Man, what's up? Welcome to the next installation of the House 94 podcast. Want to run through our everybody. I got a little bit of feedback. We got some feedback saying that everybody doesn't know who we are. So we want to make sure we point out who all the players are. So you got Lou Bingham, Helen from New York, New York. Jake Crump from D.C. D. Cloud from Dallas. Chuck Davis from Oaktown. Quasi from D.C. Maryland. Him and Crump, they from D.C. They live in Maryland, as they say. We got JT down the corner, also from New York. And we got Cool K, my roommate. And we all started Morehouse in 1990. So, and I'm Carl B. Now, we got real good feedback from our 30-second, maybe 2-minute segment on entanglements, right? So good, in fact, that we put our heads together and said we need to come up with something in that same vein, not necessarily going through entanglements, because we all mostly married men here, so we don't have them kind of entanglements. But we wanted to talk about marriage today, and we've got a good program laid out. You know what I'm saying? I want to give you some perspectives about what we think. A lot of us are veterans. I've been married for 24 years, so to the same lady. And she hasn't thrown me out yet. She's tried, but she has not been successful. We got a lot of veterans on the line today. All our guys been in and out. We got at least one divorcee, 2 divorcees here. So, man, we about to get it around the horn, and this is going to be one for the record books. We about to can this junk and put this on wax. First topic is going to be marrying young. I mean, everybody's got their different take on it. I'll start since I think I'm the first one that got married out of the crew, right?
Yeah.
When you got married,
see that in there? I mean, I never take it off. I had this ring on. It ain't never gone any further than this hand in 24 years. For me, it was easy. So what?
No, you just said it. 24 years. You've been
24 years. For me, it was easy. I met my wife first party I went to in my 5th year of school. I was a super senior, and I was with Ramon, one of my best friends, and I was like, man, dog, I'm gonna marry her. That isn't exactly what I said, but that's effectively what I said. I told her I knew. I love at first sight. I knew it was gonna happen. We started talking. We danced to PYT in Erotic City, and then next thing you know, 2 years later, we was in wedded bliss. And I can't say it's been all bliss all the way, but marrying young worked out for me. We got a house early. We used to have fight parties at the crib. We fight and all that just like everybody else, but she never thrown me out. Well, not successfully. But for me, marrying young worked out. But let's go around the horn, because I think, Lou, you got married early. I know Quasi did. Hell, I think everybody did damn near. Right?
Nah, I didn't get married early.
I wasn't invited to the bachelor party, so I wouldn't know.
I was serious.
I got married early.
I think Cool was the next one.
That was a wild
the next one.
That was
the next one up.
I just got 22 years, and so who's next?
What you got?
Cool, I think Cool. Because Cool had the extravagant wedding.
All right. How many years, Cool?
It was a long time, man. It's a long time.
You don't know how many years? You don't know how many years?
Y'all got seniority. Those with the longest years got to pop off first.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Cool. Go ahead, brother.
Man, I think, like Colby said, I met Eterica, man, in college.
I was there for that.
He was there. He was there for that, right? In college. So there are a lot of benefits, man, because you kind of grow together. You know what I mean? You're in college, you're kind of hanging out. And there are a lot of benefits to that, man. You know what I mean? You kind of
because you both
grow through life together.
You both get started, yeah.
Well, you both get started, so that person right there is there for you. There's no, hey, I've made it. Now you here. So that's a beautiful thing, man. Starting early.
Yeah, like we rich now. Shit, I don't.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing.
No, they get picked up now. She should have got me when I was right. But
yeah, it is.
Well, my wife and I just celebrated, actually, as this podcast, 22 years on Saturday. And prior to 22 years, thank you, brothers. Appreciate it. We dated before. We were high school sweethearts. Dated our senior year, made it through our respective colleges and got to this point. And I would tell you, man, it's been highs and lows. I mean, I definitely feel like I got a woman that has my back and has been there for me, supported me. I can actually say She cleaned my dirty drawers from everything. To again, just taking care of me as a good woman and a good wife. And I would tell you, to get to 22 years, it's by the grace of God, man. It doesn't come easy. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of compromise. It's a lot of you have to work through and think about what's best for you and your family ultimately. And if you were to ever talk to anybody who's done more years than you in marriage, you will find that everybody's marriage got some shit with it. So don't think your marriage is any more perfect than anybody else's marriage. And that's one of the things my wife and I have come to resolve on. So that's how we got to 22 years.
That's what's up. Crump, how long y'all been married?
Now, I'm a little bit under him. We coming on. We actually had 16, about to hit 17 in December. But just like you and Carl B and Cool, I met my wife in college and circled back around. Matter of fact, Cool and Ralu were there when I met my wife. That's a story in and of itself.
Sure.
But,
Ed Spellman.
Ed Spellman.
It is.
And so, thanks to those two guys, that's where I'm at right now. And I would say that, my wife has one of the greatest hearts that of anybody that I've known, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what really attracted me to her back in the day. She had a pair of long cocoa butter legs, and that's what got me. Now, we dated, whatever, and we
cocoa butter.
Cocoa butter, man, cocoa butter. And so that's what drew me. But the thing is that we dated, and then we went to our respective grad schools. She went to med school, I went to law school. And what's interesting is that we were there for each other when we took, the LSAT and the MCAT, and didn't have shit we didn't have shit, I recall.
And now you're the Huxtables.
Well, that's what they say, but it's just being broke on another level, actually. But did you know, it's
obviously minus the Quaaludes and all of that shit.
Right. But to say, of course, just like you guys said, man, we've been through a lot. We circled back around, got married about 8 years after we met. And so, we had a daughter, and then, we got 2 daughters now. But it's definitely had its ebbs and flow. And that's what it's about. You're not going to get anything easier, I think, in a marriage. I don't think anything's perfect. We go through our stuff, perennially. I mean, we have our issues and stuff, and it's, we try to work them out. We've been through counseling. We've done all that stuff. So it's not easy. It's a marathon, not a sprint up in this joint.
JT, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm probably after Cool K and Quasi, but before Crump, because I'm doing year 21 right now. And so similar to Quasi, I met my wife in high school. So we were high school sweethearts. Wow. I was early, smitten. And, Lou B will tell you, in terms of us getting to the point where we actually said I do, and we went our separate ways. But, we always were meant to come back together. And I think what you've expressed here, like, you have to be aligned on a lot of different things. And it's something that you work at day in, day out. Right. So financially, you have to be aligned with your goals, right? Aligned how you raise your kids. Right. She wanted 4 kids, and that's real. And we have 4 kids. And, that in and of itself takes a lot of credit. And I take my hat off to her every day to help me raise
Take
these
a hat
kids.
off to you, player.
Yep. And then also career goals like Crump and his wife, right? Being aligned with that and supporting one another. And I always read this book a long time ago. It said that people who are successful are married. And I was like, okay, well, that's what it takes. And then I'm all in. And it's been a wild ride, but it's been a good ride too. So, I would say that it is something that you have to 110% be committed to, and don't go into it half-heartedly. You got to give yourself, expose yourself. And then, it's going to be some bumps and bruises, but that's life.
Well, I swear, y'all are never going to lose them accents, man. It's crazy. It's like, I swear it's like it's 1990 all over again.
That's my northern distinguishment, sir.
Is that what that is?
Okay.
Lou, continue this Brooklyn, Queens jargon, whatever y'all from.
Yeah, so I'm coming up on 15 this year in November, a couple months. So unlike Crump and James, I met my wife late. I was in my 30s. And I don't think I would have done well if I married young. I was enjoying myself in my 20s and my early 30s. In fact, I met my wife at I met her at her ex-boyfriend's house. Was throwing her a birthday party.
A
Yeah, you
boyfriend's house.
you just
The
knocked that
ex-boyfriend's
fool. You
house.
just knocked him.
Nah. It didn't go down like that. It was a brief introduction. I was there with Jeff Street. He did an intro, and I didn't catch anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
And fast forward, she was born in January, so fast forward about a month. Super Bowl party at one of Cole Michael's unsold houses. And me and Street again at the party. I get up, we had a prime spot, get up, go to the bathroom, come back. Either her or her girlfriend was sitting in my seat. I was like, baby, you got to rise up. I'm sitting right there. So then
How soon?
we left that house, went to another dude's house, lived a couple blocks away. Her and her friend had made their way over there. Again, we didn't really say much to each other. And then fast a couple months in May in New York, good friend of ours was getting married. Morehouse guy, Will Munden, was getting married. And she was in the wedding. She knew Will's wife from grad school. We were sitting at the rehearsal dinner. James does one of these on my knee. Like, look at this. She comes and sits across from me. We start chatting. Realized we knew each other. We didn't realize we knew each other. We realized we knew some of the same people.
And look at you today.
And then we started talking. I stayed up in New York for about a week, visiting my mother. She has some family in New York. And we went out every day up there. And then we came back to Atlanta, and we was together. Fast forward about a year or so, we got married. I think we were together 2 years before we got married. So it's going on 15 this year. I think of it, it's probably a crazy ass analogy, but I always wanted a motorcycle. I had to wait till I was older because I knew when I was younger, I liked the speed too much. I wasn't ready. It was too immature. Same thing with the marriage. Had to go through some relationships, make some mistakes, learn from them, and apply them. What I learned into this relationship, and it's worked out so far. It's not always rosy. She gets on my nerves just as I get on her nerves, but there's a commitment there. I know I can rely on her, and vice versa.
That's what's up. Chuck D Cloud, give us some of your perspective real quick.
Well, I got married in 2003. Me and my wife dated. We started in 98. I was just doing the math. So we were together like boyfriend, girlfriend for like 5 years. We got married to 2003. But these last 2 years, we've been in transition. So technically, guys, I'm still married. I'm not divorced.
What do I say? What transition mean?
Ooh, that's a good question. That's a good question. We just trying to grow, I guess, and I'm gonna leave it at that. So I mean, I'm hoping for the best, but I'm still
prepare for the worst.
Still want to make sure y'all motivate me to don't not give up on it. So that's my story.
That's what's up, Chuck D.
True. I'm just the only one. I am the only one divorced. So
that's what Jose even last.
Yeah. I was with my ex-wife for 10 years. We got married in 2003 too. I got married for all the wrong reasons. I got married.
What that mean? Just speak on that. What does that mean? If you feel comfortable.
I would say, because I had got in that fast lane of a lifestyle, way too fast and just doing everything way too fast.
Morehouse man with some cash. I mean, that's what happened, bro.
And and I pretty much the reason why I got married because it was the thing to do at that time, and every my environment and all my boys, everybody was getting married in early 2000. So I just decided to get married. I mean, the story I would like to share is, I had that big extravagant wedding, and I remember, well, kind of remember it, but it was in it was at the Fern Bank. I was in the stairwell sitting there. Nobody knew where I was, by myself, like, what the fuck am I about to do? And that's exactly what I said.
Like Rich Brian, which way is up? Sitting in the stairwell, about to get shot.
And you know who came and got me?
Nick
found me, or saw me go in there. It's her father.
Oh wow!
It's her father.
Mm-hmm.
He said, "Man, sometimes we just got to do what we got to do."
Because I didn't pay for this shit.
He saw the look in my eye, and
you ain't backing out of this shit right now.
And so, and I say that, and when I look back, and after I got my divorce, and I look back, that's why I said I got married for all the wrong reasons. There was no spiritual connection. There was a definitely lack of communication. It was just a trend. And I was a person trying to be the person she wanted me to be. Wasn't being myself. So at the end of the day, it was inevitable. It wasn't going to work out. So, and it wasn't, I didn't open up the lane. We didn't open up the lane to grow together. It was just a long boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. But the great thing about marriage is I have two beautiful daughters who I adore. And they are the most best gift I have on earth, and what I live for, what I breathe for, and wake up for every day. So I don't take nothing away from your marriage. From marriage, I respect all of y'all. I mean, if you can work it out, you find the one. But I think it's just a process that you have to just be connected emotionally. And whoever you decide to live the rest of your life with, you just got to be connected emotionally. So that's what I got to say about that.
Strong, man.
Chuck brought the tone down a little bit, but I would take that.
No, it's cool.
Thank you for sharing, man.
Hey, so we just set the stage in terms of like everybody's background, in terms of everybody's marital situation. We're going to switch gears a little bit because we got the whole outline here put together by our man Jay Crump, Esquire. Excuse me. Let's talk about the consequences of not meeting a mate in college or grad school. I mean, for me, I got mine. Like I said, I spent my first 4 years in college. Man, I don't even remember what I was doing. Honestly, I just had a good ass time. You know what I'm saying? And fifth year, it's time to like go square up and get a job, so to figure out how to graduate. And then I ran into Rochelle, and it was like shit. It's like the sun came out at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, why is the sun out here? Oh, look at that. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I found my mate in college, and I think this affects females more than males, quite frankly, because most of the ladies that I know that squared up with a dude coming out of school, they usually married them, and a lot of them are together now. We know countless couples who squared up in school or had that Danforth Chapel wedding, which I'm having my rededication at Danforth Chapel for my 25th next year in June. Anyway, yes sir. And sorry, there's an aside. When a Morehouse man and a Spelman woman married, they're supposed to get married at Danforth Chapel on the campus. We didn't do that to start with, but we're gonna do that for 25. Anyway, I think it affects females more than males because we can rejuvenate ourselves, and I think become more attractive the more money we make. as we get older. For females, the ones I know that didn't square up coming out of college, a lot of them didn't fare so well in terms of finding the mate. But hell, let's run around the track. Let's start with Chuck because he's gonna hopefully not gonna bring us down again. If it's gonna be dark, go ahead and start, Chuck. But no.
Oh no, no.
What do y'all think?
I thought that was an enlightening story. But
it was a great story, but everybody else's happy shit. You was like, rrr. So let's talk about, what we think about finding a mate in college and grad school and like how that works, doesn't work, whatever. Go ahead. And y'all just take it. You know what I'm saying? Just go through.
I think college, honestly, college it's a good start because I think with men, I'm gonna speak on us. We got a process in our life, and I think that we're not done after college because we're broke. We ain't got no money, and then when we start to see that. When we get a little bit of money, we feeling a little big headed.
Did you ever think that you would be this rich?
Yeah. So we want to venture out. We want to
partake.
Yeah, exactly. So I think in college to find a mate, I think in college it's networking for the long term. It's a networking. You learn how to network, and then you see potential. You're constantly adding value to yourself. You see value in others. So you building those relationships, and is like some of your stories. You guys revisit some of the ladies, like Lou. You revisit your wife, current wife. Jay, you revisit yours. But and that's interesting that you do that. And but it was, you guys got to think about that time when y'all revisit. Y'all were a lot older and you grew. You matured a lot. And I think at the end of the day, we got to give the women the credit, man. They way more mature than us. They like 5 steps ahead of us. They 5 steps ahead of us. So we got 5 steps to always catch up on.
Or not.
Or we're not going to catch it. So, I think 35 is a good year. 35 years old. I got a number, 35 years old. It's just that times where you really know yourself and you kind of like, you got a solid perspective of life. You know what you want, and you kind of like know who you are.
Yeah, but see, I don't know. I think when they see us on the yard, right, and we there together, that's the last chance for a black female to have that many black men in one spot, in one space at one time, right? Mm-hmm. And then they see you in context. They see you in your element. Like my sister-in-law, Rochelle's little sister is, I'm going to say 10 years younger than her. Mm-hmm. And I remember, I've known her since she was like 10 years old. And she said to me one time, like, yeah, I don't see what my sister sees in you.
Damn.
But then, but she went to spell too, right? So she sees me at homecoming one year. She was like, okay, I kind of get it. Like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm cool as shit. Motherfuckers like me. But I think that's the last chance you see that many people in that close, concentration. And that doesn't exist anywhere else, especially when you get in the real world. We go out to corporate America, we go to higher education, like graduate school, unless you at like a Howard or Meharry or something like that. Yeah. You go to, Penn State or Harvard, whatever, dude, you're a minority. You know what I'm saying? A deep minority. So, I think that's why it can get harder, because you don't have that concentration of people at your fingertips.
Oh, I got something to say on that, man.
Go ahead, though.
I think it's so important, man. I think college is an amazing fertile ground to meet an amazing companion, man. like, especially like the schools that you and I went to, all of us went to, and this right here, this is for the ladies. Ladies, I'm gotta take my glasses off. Ladies. If I had a daughter, I have 4 sons, I would send her to a historic black college And like Colby just said, you will never, ever, ever have the plentiful, the abundance of intelligent black men in one location.
Never.
Never.
Especially Morehouse, yeah.
Especially Morehouse. I ain't say it, but especially Morehouse. So it's very important. You got
Keep
a
it
daughter,
real.
send her to these schools. Make sure and listen. You have tell them they have two things to get an amazing education and find an amazing man. And that's not, those two go tandem. I'm not trying to fit into the feminists, but what we have to do is build strong family units to get a great education, because you will never have that much talent in one location. That's extremely important. I had to take my glasses off to that one.
Side note, you did offend all the feminists. Trump, don't disappoint me, man. Give me something.
Well, I think, just to say what Cool said, I mean, once, what you said, KB, once you get in a situation where you're outside the realm of being able to meet folks and being in that circle where you've got people coming in that look like yourself, that have
that safe space.
That like mind entertainment. And then you're out in the corporate world and you're out, now you're kind of playing catch up because you're trying to find the time to date. You're trying to find the time to meet people. You're meeting new friends and what have you. They're not the same as those friends that you may have had in college or maybe in grad school. So know you're in a situation where it's a lot harder to meet those men. And a lot of times, many of those men are, they may be trying to make up for a situation they didn't have in college and high school. And so those same guys are like, well, shoot, hey, I'm gonna play the field. I'm gonna run the circle, because I didn't get to do it when I was in high school and college. So now you end up meeting a lot of men that are playing games, a lot of men who ain't trying to, really do what you may want them to do. They're up on a smash and grab mission, and so a lot of folks kind of like, I know a lot of women, man, good women. And I know a lot of men too, not as many, but a lot of good women who I'm like, damn, why aren't you married? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you fine sister.
You're a bad motherfucker. Yeah, your shit is all together.
I roll with a lot of women that I'm just real cool with, and they're just not married. And I'm like, yo, and a lot of times it's because they didn't take advantage of the situation that Cool talked about. They went to HBCUs, and maybe they felt some type of way at the HBCU where, their head wasn't right, and so they let that guy just slip away. And that same guy that may have been trying to holler at them now no longer becomes available and has been married to somebody else because they were on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And so what happens is that they get to a point now where you starting to meet. You got to go to the club. You got to go to the bar. You know what I'm saying? And ladies, everybody knows you ain't gonna meet anybody of any real value in a club or a bar when you're the first instinct when you go into a club or bar is to go.
You can, but he ain't trying to marry your ass.
Yeah, because you can't even go back to your parents and say where you met that person. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn. Your parents ask you, where'd y'all meet? Oh, we met at the club. Oh, you know what I'm saying?
You feel bad
about that?
Huh?
You made me feel bad. Yeah. That's where I met my wife.
My bad.
No, it can't happen. It can't happen.
It can happen. I mean, I'm saying now there's always an exception to every rule, but it's just not. There's not as much fertile ground, obviously, in a club. Because everybody's got a mission. You go to the club, you know what you're trying to do. It's whatever. You know what I mean?
I think what happens is, and this is unfortunate, but for men, our stock raises exponentially as the dollar starts to flow. Right. So you first get out of school, you get your little piece of job, you start your career, you're not making shit. Then you get that first promotion. Then you get the first couple raises. Then you start getting your bonuses and shit. Then you get your first BMW. Now you buying all your shit, you got all your suits from certain places, your wardrobe is on point. Although I don't really get my haircut like that, but you get your haircut on a regular basis, you grooming yourself well, and you got your bag. Once you start doing that, man, your universe widens.
Your options increase dramatically.
Yeah, dramatically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think women open themselves up to it like men do. Because I got a partner, rich ass doctor, he married a lady 10, 12 years younger than him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many women doing that.
Yeah. See, he did that because
he could.
Yeah.
He could. That's why.
And she hit the fucking lottery. I mean, hell, I got a 6-car garage. You know what I'm saying?
Fellas, all you guys that are married right now, are your parents still together?
Well, you know what's
mine were together until they died in 2017. But yes,
okay.
Chuck, you know what's funny about you asking that question, Chuck? That's actually where I was going to go in this segment. Where when you talk about people identifying who their potential marriage partner is going to be, a lot of this stems from us being first, second, and third generation going to college and even knowing what to expect. And if your parents were together, how they met, we don't pay attention to some of the dynamics on both the male and the female's part about their parenting background. Were their parents married the whole time? Are they on their second or third marriage? And all that does play into freshman through senior year. Who you meet, how you meet, the background of those different people and what they have witnessed growing up in their household. And so even when you speak to the openness of a young lady or a young man wanting to find who's going to be that potential partner down the road, do you even know? Have you been coached on that, And I know as far as I'm concerned, when I'm raising my boys, I'm talking to them about the different dynamics, not just from the young lady standpoint and what I know of her situation from what he shares, but even what my dynamic was growing up as a parent, growing up with a single mom for years until my mom got married and then married my stepfather. And I learned at 15, 16 what a marriage was like versus some kids who experienced the background of having two parents in the home from childhood. That's a different dynamic that I'm entering into Morehouse with, and some young lady from Spelman or Clark or wherever I meet her from may have. You know what I mean? So I'm saying all that to say the background of our of everybody plays into identifying somebody early on in college.
Absolutely. I mean, I agree with you. I think.
Chuck, why are you asking that question? Go pick that back up.
Well, I say that because my parents got divorced at when they were together for 20 years, and I was 14 when they got divorced. So, I mean, but I was growing up in Oakland. All my friends, I celebrated them getting divorced because all my friends had their parents were divorced, so it was like cool.
You're like everybody else.
And I saw the freedom that they had. I was thinking about freedom and I was thinking about, now, I'm the man of the house. I'm the shit. I could do what the fuck I want to do. And the thing about it doesn't work like that. It's the parenting of how I do now with my ex-wife. It was different what my mother and father did with me.
Right.
My mother threw my father up under the bus.
Mm-hmm.
And it although they got a good relationship now, but she threw him up under the bus. And so when you dealing with, growing up, it's like, and then my father was a very controlling man. So that kind of, I got a little bit of him, I got a little bit of my mom. So the parenting was a little different. So, but I will say this, they gave me great values as far as raising kids.
Yeah.
It's funny because I looked at it when I met, whether it be my wife or anybody that I was dating seriously before my wife, it was about making sure that they did have parents that were together. That's I actually looked at that. Like when I dated this, I actually look at that. The second thing I did was how well did my wife or person I'm dating got along with their father.
Key.
That was a real big issue for me.
Yes.
Yeah. I found that, when I was dating, a lot of the major wrecks that I had in my dating relationship, it was always women who never got along with their fathers. And so it was
that's the benefit of getting married older. Because I ain't gonna lie to you, I saw my wife. I was like, I'm about to marry her pretty ass.
Mm-hmm.
But that's key though. No, but you know what? No, but that gets back to what I think what was key about Chuck's question, and examining the parents, because, and it's on both sides. Like, there was probably a time I would have just blamed a woman not having a good relationship with her father, thinking, well, she had some fucked up father who fucked her over. But that wasn't always the case. Sometimes sometimes it's the man and what situation he grew up in. Because what are women complaining about now? These guys who are soft spoken, they not men, they don't step up, right? Where's that coming from? By them being raised by a woman in a single parent household, not having the example of a father and or a mother and or what it looks like to have to work out. All of us was talking about having kids. We all have to work out shit with our wives. It ain't just I lay down the law and I make a decision, or any of us just do that.
I lay down the law and make decisions.
No, we all y'all know what I mean when I say it. What I'm saying is we all are parenting together. You see what I'm saying? And there are things that in you parenting together, you're not going to let your wife look a certain way, and she's not going to let you look a certain way to your kids. You see what I'm saying? But we were talking about a situation where, if I think, like Chuck was saying, if his mother, right, was throwing his dad under the bus, you know how many girls we were dealing with like that in college? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You didn't know that.
You're missing another issue here, is that when you're dealing with a lot of different factors, even racially in the United States, comes into play here, right? You got demographic availability, right? Do you have someone there you can match up with? And a lot of people here are spread out. Like even my daughter, she goes to a predominantly white institution. And, what I see for her is the fact, is she going to find someone, right?
Yeah.
I think that you have to deal with unemployment as well as a big issue, right?
Certainly.
Low earnings, right? Level of education, right? So these are things that are what I call these outside forces that are impacting a lot of us. And if you look at the marriage rates between blacks, whites, and even Hispanics, you'll see us on the lower end of that. Right?
True.
So
James, JT, brother, I think you're supposed to say Latinx or some shit like that.
I apologize. Latinx.
But you always come with
the
core shit, man. You come with the good shit. All right, well, I think we tackled that one effectively. Does anybody got a burning comment?
Let me jump in. Let me jump in real quick. You guys have said some, sounds like some wise things, but I didn't particularly go with any of that. I didn't do a lot of the things that you said. I didn't really.
Contrarian alert.
I grew up in a two-family home. I had my own idea based off of what I saw what marriage was. In college, I definitely wasn't thinking about getting married. Dated a couple of girls in college. Right after college, I still wasn't thinking about it.
Hey, that's not true, Lou.
That is true.
I'm going to drop some names. But keep going.
Whoa.
Once I got into law school.
Can you wipe your head? Because it's about to get hot in here.
Once I got into law school, I was still dating, and after law school, I was having a ball. Marriage was the furthest thing from my mind. And then I met my wife. I think it was R. Kelly had a song. She slipped me a banana pill, had a pimp slip, and it was kind of like Carl B. But I think it was based off of my previous relationships and my reaction or relations with her, that she accepted me for who I was and responded in kind. She didn't trip when I tripped. I didn't really pay attention to background. I was aware of it, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me. It was something that, I could deal with, make it work, and we've been doing that.
Well, let me just say this. Being married 24 years and coming straight out of school, getting married, I had a good ass time. Shit, I was having the time of my life when I first got married. Shit. And my wife, to this day, if I go in the living room right now, well, she's sitting there close to the lake in the front of the house in Wakanda. If I put on A-Ball MJG, lay it down, she'd recite them lyrics to this fucking day. Thank you.
I think that's what helped was like my wife. We dated for a couple of years. She went to HBCU as well, and
she was A&T, right?
We traveled in the same circles. So her friends and my friends, like Biggie, we can all be friends. So
That's right.
we hung out tough, going to clubs together and all that, and got to know each other. She got to see me. I think someone mentioned it before, the HBCU. You can see someone in their element. She was able to see me that way, and me her. That's all I had to say on that.
No, I think that's right though. But you got to understand the forces behind that. You know, educated, family base, right? Having demographic availability, all of those factors come into play, right?
Dig that. All right, good commentary, pimps. Good shit. We got to move on. This is a good one. I like this next little topic. Dating as a 40-something after separation or divorce. We're gonna obviously direct this at Mr. Transition and Mr. Divorce now in his new life. To D Cloud and Chuck. Only thing I say is I go out a lot. You know, I'm a social person. Wakanda has a lot of bars for blacks to frequent, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out and about, and shit, women are aggressive as hell. And I'm not a good looking man. Shit, you know, I was born ugly, you know what I'm saying? So they be aggressive as hell. I'm like, baby, you know, shit, come on now, relax. Shit, you know. I'll show a picture of my wife, like, back off, relax. But I don't know what that dating scene is like. I've been, you know, in this matrimonial situation all this time. So, you know, D Cloud and Chuck, don't you speak on dating at as a 40-something, you know, and how this shit all works, you know what I'm saying, after separation or divorce, to the extent that you can.
Yeah, for
you
me,
go first.
Man, I have no energy, no desire. You know, I've had people try to hook me up with people. You know, I went out on dates and I'm just not feeling it. But you know, I don't have any advice for anybody over 40 trying to date. I mean, because like I said, guys, I'm actively trying to get my marriage together. Hopefully that we can get back together. So, you know, I'm not actively looking for anybody else. So maybe that's the problem.
And Chuck, you in a relationship now, so I guess you ain't got much you can talk about in that regard either.
Yeah, well, I could share how I was in the beginning because, you know, like I said, when I got my divorce, I didn't want to get a divorce, but because it was, you know.
Well, hell, you didn't want to get married in the first place.
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, you know, and it was going through the whole motions. Brother didn't want to do it. So, you know, I did the typical. It was a process, put it that way. Dating right now, it's a lot. It's easier because you like I said, you start to realize who you are, and you begin to realize I got to be honest. I got to stop being dishonest with myself. Yeah. Then I could grow. Once I stop being dishonest with myself, I can grow. I'm growing. Now I could step to a woman that's more established, more has her stuff together, just honestly knows who she is. And she just, in a nutshell, got her shit together. And then, and so in order to do that, you had to go through that process. And then you got to go through a process of, you know, just being who you are and let her appreciate for who you are.
At the end of the day, you found your way back to the, you know, a lady from Spelman, the birthplace of Black Girl Magic, because Spelman is truly the birthplace of Black Girl Magic.
Alluded, I revisit. I did. And it was, and I think that's the greatest thing, because here's a person who knew the old Chuck, who appreciates the new Chuck, and then you can just.
Oh, she knew you when you was in school.
Yeah. Right. And so the thing about it is, when you go there, it's kind of like, all right, you can't play no game. You can't. It ain't nothing you can hide.
That's right. I know you.
You got to
know you. I've seen you since you 18, 19. That's right.
Exactly.
So it goes back to what Carl B just said. The beauty of marrying someone in college.
Oh, it's you guys. You guys are on to something right there, and a lot of people don't know that.
And let me ask y'all this, and it's actually more of a statement. There are a lot of men, especially guys that I know who are in their 40s or late 30s or whatever, who are dating, and they're dating regularly, and they're in the same position as many of the women out here. And I find that, given the great amount of options that they have, I feel like for those friends that I have that are like that, I feel like they are trying to find that perfect person. Like, it's almost like they got five out of 5 qualities. And let me just ask this, and this is a subtopic, and I don't think it's part of our regular topics, but does that make sense that for you to sit there and try to find somebody thinking that if they don't have at least 5 out of 5 or 4 out of 5 of the qualities you're looking for, you are then settling?
Well, I think 5 out of 5 is easier for us as men and as women. And I mean, I agree with you in that. Like, I know a lot of guys in their 30s and 40s, a lot of my frat brothers and chap brothers and other guys that I know, 30s and 40s. Most of the guys I know that are single out here are savages. I say that in a good way. I love all these brothers. But a lot of them do want to settle down, and they go for that 5 out of 5 type of thing. But, our requirements are not as stringent as females, right? So, like, we could date a lady that's short, right? Especially if she got a fat ass. Women, a lot of times, aren't going to date a man shorter than them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Easier for us to find our 5 out of 5 than the ladies find their 5 out of 5, because we don't have the same requirements. It doesn't matter like to us.
Oh, let it loose. Let's go.
But it doesn't matter how much money a lady makes, right? She doesn't have to be making more than us for us to fuck with her, right? Women sometimes be on that shit. I would love man, if my wife made more money than me, I'd be the happiest motherfucker alive. Shit.
But hey, KB, but you got to understand, we got the internet now. Dating is done different now. Everybody.
Shit, I don't know.
Well, let me interject this though. I think one of the problems you have when you talk about dating past 40, on this very point about the 5 out of 5, is just unrealistic expectations of this. I mean, the fact of the matter is, man, if you done been in this game, you done been married, you married to an imperfect motherfucker. I don't care who she is, how good she look, how bomb diggy anything is in the bedroom. Okay? We all got imperfect people we married to. And if you think you done ended a bad relationship and you're going to enter into another one that's perfect, you done fooled yourself from the jump. You got to start at a point of even knowing
TD Jakes
about being honest. And Chuck mentioned that earlier. You got to be honest with yourself about who you are, what you're willing to do, period. And if you're not willing to have that conversation with yourself, you are a detriment to anybody else you dating out there in the market.
Yeah, because whatever you might not like about your wife, next bra is gonna manifest all of that. Just
exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
but like I said, I think it's easy for us to get our 5 out of 5 as the ladies do. You know what I'm saying? If I was, I don't think I would ever get married again, because, she gonna bury me, I'm sure. Because shit, it's what it is. I ain't long for this world, I'm sure. But I don't think I'd ever get married again. But if I did, I was looking at 5 out of 5. Yeah, she better have that 5 out of 5. Fuck that shit.
I would not get married again. I know.
Iceberg Slim said any good pimp is his own best company. You know what I'm saying?
That's right,
but do you know why my reason for not marrying again doesn't have to do with having a bad marriage? One of the things I tell my wife, and I'm sure probably all of y'all would agree, I don't know that I could work at a relationship like this again for another person.
No.
So I got something to say, man. I got something to say. Like,
go ahead.
So my mom died in 2003, right? Devastated for my family, my dad too, right? Truly Johnson. My dad has not remarried.
His wife was his family, man.
His wife was everything.
That's his family.
Family, and so when Quasi says what he's saying, there's a lot of merit to that. I got an example of that. And my dad, you know, I'm a guy, you know, I'm 6 feet. I'm sorry, guys, I'm 6. I'm not that 6 feet.
Yeah, wait, you're a 6 foot dude.
When they lay you down,
everybody start laughing. Hey, dude.
6 foot.
We know what you're
6'1".
trying to say, cool. We know what you're trying to say.
6'1".
You 5'8", but you're supposed to be 6'4".
But that was a joke. But my dad is 6'4", right?
Wait, just wait. Can I interject real quick?
Go ahead.
I've heard him say that to people before.
I know.
I'm not gonna get a full context.
I know. Don't do it. I'm 6'4", baby, but on certain conditions. But you know what I'm saying? So, and I will meet those conditions. But my dad, man, you know, it was like, man, and it's funny. So a couple years after my mom died, I had to be a church used to do, and I would just see the women would kind of come on to this guy, and we had a huge birthday party for my dad, and it was kind of weird watching it. And I talked to him like, man, I said, Dad, man, listen, bro. Man, Mom's been, you know, passed away for a while, man. He said, he looked at me dead in the eye and said, son, I would never remarry again. Never. I would never take away from the family estate. I would never do that. I would never do that. You know, because your mom helped me build this. And that would be I would be sacrilegious for me to do that.
Hell yeah.
But that's financially he's talking about. He doesn't want to split.
Let's go back to what James said. Financially.
You and your sister. Right.
My sister now. You're exactly right.
Yeah.
But then you gotta look at like life is about happiness. So then you look at it in terms of, man, how do you manage that?
Manage what?
I think
happiness.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right, Kwesi. You hit it on the head. The amount of work that you got to put into it, and putting that work at 40 something or 50 something, doing it all over again, and then you're set in your ways. You know, you're a lot more stubborn, and unless that person meets every criteria, which nobody really does,
never,
maybe, but it's just. I mean, you're setting yourself up just for another
failure.
Well, hang on. This is a good segue. Hold on, Chuck. This is a good segue into
a prenup. Just
there's that. But now we all need it. But yeah,
prenup. Look, you ain't getting nothing. My kids get this.
This we just gonna smash and dash. We're good. Yeah. We didn't get married. You crazy?
Yeah. You better hope she signs that prenup.
This is a good segue to the next segment. Is there such a thing as a perfect marriage? I would say yes, personally. Me and my wife got
How can you say yes when you yourself are imperfect?
I mean, I'm imperfect. This is my wife, but we have established a dog and chain relationship, not a ball and chain, but a dog and chain. So basically, my wife lets me roam and do what I got to do. And when she feels like I'm kind of getting out of order, she'll just kind of pull the chain a little bit. And I'll like, okay, shit, I went a little too far. And I'll like back up. But she is big enough to let me roam. And I'm big enough to respect when I'm getting out of bounds. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we coexist. And, you know, it works out. And I mean, hell, you know, we got a nice size crib, so I can be in the fucking west wing. She can be in the east wing.
Whoa. You say you got some money?
Who, me?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
No. I'm a wage earner. You know what I'm saying? Y'all,
but no, wage earners do pretty good too.
I do okay, but I'm saying I could be in the west wing and she could be in the east wing, so we can spread out. But the point is, we respect each other enough that she gives me reign to do what I got to do. If I get to a place where she's uncomfortable with my activity, she'll pull the chain, just like any good dog. I'm like, okay, all right, I'll stop right here.
And it works out. That's how that works for us. Your socialness, like if you go into the bar too much, she'll tell you, hey,
social, drinking, spending money, being out, work. Yeah. I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? In all aspects of life, she gives me domain to do what I got to do for the family, because she knows I'm gonna be the earner and the hunter gatherer. And yeah. I mean, hell, that's why she told me. You know, when we got married, she said she thought I was gonna be a good earner.
Hey, they got them A-ball in, Cliff.
Yeah, what's called pep. They called that pep back in college.
Exactly.
You got
Carl,
potential.
Probably
Boy.
have potential, but yeah, but she
potential.
ran me in when she feels like I'm doing too much, and I respect that.
And that's good,
gangster
Carby.
change. Yeah, I
Carl, here's
respect
the
the
answer
gangster
to
change.
your question. Though initially, when you asked the question about a perfect marriage, I was shaking my head, but I'm gonna change that to say, for any of us answering that question, it comes down to what you and your wife define as a perfect marriage.
There you go.
Because
Yes,
the
exactly.
fact of
You
the
see me
matter
out of home.
is, the fact of the matter is, everybody, no matter how much you say you love somebody, you're gonna disappoint them in somewhere in the marriage, and it happens. I don't care if it's infidelity to somebody taking money out of your banking account, or if you find out your spouse is on drugs. There's some level of disappointment that happens, and so to define what a perfect marriage is critical to any couple. You know what I mean? For some, it's the duration of being married the rest of their life. For others, it's raising their kids. So my point is, to answer that question effectively, it starts at that point of having an honest conversation with your spouse that actually has to go on, not just in the beginning of your marriage, but throughout your marriage. You have to communicate what's working and what's not working for you all throughout, if you're going to have what you define as a perfect marriage.
True.
Man, we put some shit in the bag today, man. We
did.
at the top of the hour.
Keep going.
Say what? Keep it going.
Keep going.
Black women, I love you ladies. Black women, you're the greatest, baby. Black gods, love
Birthplace
you.
of Black Girl Magic. Anyway, thanks again for tuning in to another installation of the House 94 podcast. Oh, we see the sun is coming back out of Wakanda. Oh, I need my sunglasses. Appreciate y'all coming in. Go check us out on Facebook. Check us out on Instagram, thehouse94.com, the House 94 podcast, the house. Check it out. IG, Twitter, Facebook, look it up and provide comments. We up here, bloviating and doing our thing. We sound great to each other, but, we want to hear your feedback. And as I always say, we got thick skin. You're not going to hurt our feelings. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Obviously, we're going to come back to this again because we haven't finished. And, yeah. Rue, we out.
Rue.
Rue.